Well, we're continuing to follow the latest in the detainment of the former Columbia University student who was arrested by federal immigration agents sent to an ICE processing center in Jena. Colin Vidros has been following the story and joins me now in the studio with more. Colin, what did you find out?
Well, Johnny, we first learned on Wednesday that a federal judge ruled to block Khalil's deportation for now as he remains detained at the ICE processing center. I spoke with a few Jena residents on their reaction to Khalil's detainment. Immigration enforcement agents arrested Mahmoud Khalil in New York on March 7th after his green card was revoked for leading pro-Palestinian protests while the conflict between Israel and Hamas continues. Khalil is currently being held at this ICE processing center in Jena. The town has a population of just over 4,000 residents, according to U.S. Census data. 3 lifelong Jena residents I spoke to who did not want to be on camera believe if Khalil is not a U.S. citizen but is a student looking for an education in the U.S., then he should not be detained in ICE custody. However, since Khalil led pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University, those residents believe he should be sent back home. Over a dozen people held a peaceful protest March 12th, calling for Khalil's release from immigration enforcement. Khalil is a citizen of Algeria, but court documents show he became a lawful permanent resident of the United States in November 2024. A document presented to Khalil revealed that Secretary of State Marco Rubio determined, quote, your presence or activities in the United States would have serious adverse foreign policy consequences for the United States, end quote. And Khalil is expected to appear before an immigration judge at the LaSalle Detention Center on March 27th. Johnny, we'll send it back to you.